Hi guys, Michelle Visser here, the author of Sweet Maple, the host of the Simple Doesn't Mean Easy podcast, and the creator of SoullyRested.com. You will find a good bit there about kombucha, because that could be a fourth thing that I mentioned about myself. I am a kombucha fanatic. I have been making kombucha for almost a decade, and until, about 3 months ago, I've been making it continuously, nonstop. I took a break because of a few different reasons, and I've missed it desperately. And today I just went up to the attic and pulled out my ferment vessel. I'm gonna go clean it up. I'm gonna go down to the root cellar and get my SCOBY Hotel and get this baby starting to brew again. I thought you would like to join me to see how this is done. This was perfect for our Pantry Staples Summer Challenge and Giftaway for this week for my recipe, because this is something that you can save so much money if you make it yourself instead of buy it. In fact, check out the description for lots more information about kombucha, how it is so good for your gut health, and some recipes, and a cost analysis of how it compares if you're making your own versus buying it at your local grocery store. I was blown away when I did the math. So I hope this is a pantry staple that a lot of people get on board with. And definitely see the description for the link where you can go find all of the 10 different pantry staple recipes we are sharing this summer. Also, before we go any further, I want to tell you, way back a decade ago, when I wanted to make my own kombucha, but I felt clueless, I figured out a lot of tips and secrets to make this such an easier process. And I put together a masterclass of all the things I wish I had known a decade ago that would have made it so much easier. It would have saved me so much time and so much money on wasted kombucha that didn't turn out correctly, that nobody wanted to drink. If you want to check out my masterclass, see the description for the special offer I have for you for a limited time, and give it a try. It's also money back guarantee. You really can't go wrong. But within a few weeks, you will be a master kombucha artist, and you're going to be saving so much money if you're making it yourself instead of buying it. On top of that, it's never as delicious when you buy it. I've never purchased a kombucha that I went, wow, I love this. No, it's always vinegary, and it's never exactly the flavor that I want. But when you make it yourself, Sayla wants you to know this, when you make it yourself, guys, you make it exactly the way you want it. You choose the flavor, you make it exactly the sweetness, exactly the variety of flavors that you want. You let it brew long enough that it's the amount of sweetness you want, that it's the amount of carbonation that you want. It's just, you can perfect it to the way your family loves it. So go check out all that information in the description and join in to this Kombucha Academy Masterclass. I think you will love it. So, going down to the root cellar. It's a nice, cool, dark place for me to keep my SCOBY Hotel. We do have a dirt floor root cellar. Could turn the light on. And here is what I'm looking for. Okay, I got what I need. There we go. I know when I stopped. February of this year. So I was actually spot on. It has been pretty much exactly 3 months. I have missed it. It has been too long. So let's get this started. So I am just giving this a good cleaning with just some hot water. I do not want to use any soap. I don't want any chance of the soap coming in contact with my SCOBY and harming the viability of the SCOBY. So just using really hot water, a clean new sponge. I did rinse it before I put it away, but I didn't scrub it really well because I knew I was going to be using it again very soon. I knew I wouldn't be able to go without it for long. I'm going to give the outside a good scrub too. I'm so excited to start this. I've been thinking about it for days, knowing I wanted to get it started today. I literally just got back from the gym with my daughter. Haven't done anything else except for grabbing this, getting it cleaned, and grabbing my SCOBY Hotel. Okay, I do want to tell you, I decided to show you exactly what I'm doing today, which involves a concentrate that I made ahead of time. I had a friend ask me, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, if he could have a piece of SCOBY. Well, I told him I had plenty to spare, so it wasn't a problem. But I did have, because my jar is so full of SCOBYs, there isn't a whole lot of starter tea in there. And the starter tea is so important to get your SCOBY really off to a good start and to get your kombucha brewing for you nice and quickly. So I went ahead and made my concentrate 3 weeks ago to give Jim some additional sugary tea with his starter tea so I could leave enough for myself, knowing I was going to be doing this. And I also fed my SCOBYs back then, so they'd be really happy and ready to go today. So I'm just going to show you exactly what I'm doing, but I know that you very well might not have a container like this. You very well, most likely, do not have a jar of SCOBYs sitting around, and you probably don't have your concentrate tea ready to go. So no worries if you have never made kombucha before and you really want to do this. Just see the description for all the details, step by step, walking you through how you can start your very first batch of kombucha. And most likely you have everything that you need right in your kitchen, except for a SCOBY. But I do have a source for you, fantastic organic SCOBY that's going to get you started off really well right out of the gate, and a discount code for you. So see all of that in the description, and then let me show you what I'm doing today. Okay, let me tell you a few things. First of all, I love this particular vessel because it has this fantastic spigot that lets you bottle your second ferment so easily. And I really want to make sure you know that this spigot is 100% high-grade stainless steel. That's all that's here. There is no plastic tubing or filling inside of this. If you're going to go buy like an iced tea jar from Walmart, don't use your spigot, because inside of it there's going to be a plastic tube, and that plastic tube is going to corrode with the highly corrosive nature of kombucha. You're going to be drinking pieces of plastic. You don't want that. But this, because it's high-grade stainless steel, is a fantastic source to use for brewing kombucha. First of all, I'm going to put my SCOBY in here. I'm going to pour some of my starter tea in there that I need to get this started well. And then I'm going to let part of this SCOBY, this layer of SCOBY, slide on out. Let's see what I got. Okay, this starter tea is loaded with probiotics. I can just see the yeast and the wonderfulness in there. Okay, so on top here, I had a piece that was kind of ripped a little bit. SCOBYs grow in layers. So I'm gonna see if I can get a piece that is more solid than that. This is so big because it's the SCOBY I used in this container. If you're buying a SCOBY, it's probably gonna come small. It's totally fine to use a small SCOBY in a big container. In a matter of weeks, maybe a month, it's gonna grow and fill the area. So it's perfectly fine if your SCOBY is a small one to start. Okay, this one isn't broken. I have a full piece. So I'm gonna go with this layers. These, I'm planning on making some dog treats and maybe even some chicken food and some garden compost. So I have uses for these. Also, we love SCOBY candy for us. So I'm gonna put this back in here. I don't need all of these layers today. This is more than enough to get this started. Okay, so I have probably about a cup worth of starter tea in there. In fact, let me add some more. I will build up this starter tea with some of my concentrate that I'm going to be using in this in just a second. So let me add some more starter tea. Keeping a reserve in there that I will build up. Okay, so now I probably have about a cup's worth, about 2 cups worth of starter tea. Got my SCOBY. Now I need to add the food for the SCOBY, which I have a concentrate of. This is a very highly sugar loaded concentrate. It looks weird because there's some ice on the top because it was back in the very cold corner of my fridge. So ignore the ice. Let me shake it up some. Okay. I need to add, because this is a concentrate, I need to add water as well. This is 6.5 cups of water that I already measured out. And now I need to measure out 1.5 cups of my concentrate. And guys, it is literally that simple. I have very sugary tea and starter tea from my kombucha jar, or my SCOBY jar, and a SCOBY. That's all you need. Now for your lid, you do want to make sure this is open to the air, but not open to intruders or pests, especially in the summertime. You don't want any flies or fruit flies laying their eggs in there. They would love it. So this is simply a flour sack towel. So it has, a pretty open weave, so it's going to breathe really well. Actually, that was doubled over, but this is huge. I'm going to double it over. And then this container is actually for making wine. And on the top here, it would have, goodness, what do you call that? Distiller kind of attachment, which I've taken out. So I have an open hole here on the top. If you're using a jar, just don't put a lid on the jar and cover it with a piece of fabric. So now I have this open to the air, but no bugs can get in, at least once I lock it up here. Get this down securely. And now this just needs to sit. After at least a week, I'm going to give it, I will taste it and see if it's ready to make some small bottles of kombucha.